Hi guys, Barb here. I am from Creative Space, and today we're going to talk about what triggers are and how to get rid of them. Okay, so first you got to understand what a trigger is. A trigger is an emotional response to an event, a situation, people, places, things. So basically anything that causes that emotional response in people, right? And it varies from person to person depending on your background. So basically what your brain's doing is when triggers come up for you, it's pulling information from your past, right? It's your subconscious is going back to things that happened before. And it's basically pulling up stuff to try and keep you safe, and stuff that you need to deal with. So that's basically what a trigger is. Step 2 is to identify what your triggers are or what situations cause it. So, for example, if you think about the example I gave the other day was we were at the Ren Fair, and a lot of people have problems with being around crowds and lots of people. Tends to cause anxiety. It tends to bring out that emotional response, right? So that would be an example of a situation that causes it. And it varies from person to person. Some people have problems speaking in front of people. Some people have problems getting up on stage and talking in front of audiences. Some people have problems going outside the house. Some people have problems with different types of like dogs or insects or animals. Certain things that people will say can cause an emotional response. Certain scents will do it. So, yeah, it varies. It varies from what that looks like. So, hi Don. So the third step to this is to release the emotional response to the trigger. And so I'm going to read a story to you guys because I love stories and they're fun. So I'm sure that many of you guys have heard of the story of the white and black wolf. And pull it up. Okay. So this actually comes from a Cherokee tribe. And they call it Beyond the Conflict of Inner Forces. But basically, it's a story about two wolves, right? So an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He's anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you and inside every other person too. Hi, Vita. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? You might heard the story ends like this. The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. In the Cherokee world, however, the story ends this way. The old Cherokee simply replied, if you feed them right, they both win. And the story goes on. You see, if I only choose to feed the white wolf, the black one will be hiding around every corner, waiting for me to become distracted or weak and jump to get the attention he craves. He will always be angry and always fighting the white wolf. But if I acknowledge him, he is happy and the white wolf is happy and we all win. For the black wolf has many qualities: tenacity, courage, fearlessness, strong-willed, and great strategic thinking. That I have need of that at times and that the white wolf lacks. But the white wolf has compassion, caring, strength, and the ability to recognize what it is in the best of all of us. You see, son, the white wolf needs the black wolf at his side. To feed only one would starve the other, and they would become uncontrollable. To feed and care for both means they will serve you well and do nothing that is not a part of something greater, something good, something of life. Feed them both, and there will be no internal struggle for your intention. And when there's no battle inside you, you can listen to the voices of deeper knowing that will guide you in choosing what is right in every circumstance. Peace, my son, is the Cherokee mission in life. A man or a woman who has peace inside has everything. A man or a woman who is pulled apart by the war inside him has nothing. How you choose to interact with the opposing forces within you will determine your life. Starve one or the other, or guide them both. So the reason why I chose to read that story is because I think it relates very well to that struggle. And oftentimes the lack of understanding about that mental health struggle is that people say to ignore the negative emotions, right? And they'll go away. They don't. So basically ignoring them and stuffing them down means that they're still there. So you shove all that stuff down, you shove the triggers down. It doesn't get rid of them. It just pushes them deep down, and they will eventually rise up again, right? It's like those it's like some trying to keep down something that's going to float, right? So basically what you do to release is you identify what it is, the emotion is that you're struggling with, whether it's fear, sadness, anger, frustration, whatever it is, and you acknowledge it, and then you imagine it turning into, like, you close your eyes, imagine it turning into a cloud, and release it to the sky. Okay? What that does is it makes room for other things. It makes room for identifying what that story is beneath it. It makes room for identifying some of the positives that that need to come up, that you need, right? So recognizing the black wolf, which is the negative emotion, helps you to feed the white wolf, because then they're both happy, right? And they're both able to thrive, which is what you want, right? So, and then step 4, after you release the emotional response, you're not over yet. There's still more. You target the story beneath the trigger. And so if you think about it, a trigger, the iceberg story has been related to a lot of things, but we'll relate it to this too, because basically the trigger is like that. If you're going in the ocean, or riding along in the boat on the ocean, you see the chunk of the tip of the iceberg on the surface, right? That's the trigger. That's that emotional response to the situation. Everything beneath it that you can't see is, yeah, I can definitely share that story with you, Crystal. That's not a problem. Everything beneath that trigger, everything that you can see in that immediate situation, all the stuff that you can't see, that's the story. That's the belief system behind the trigger. And that is what you want to address. Because if you don't get at that story, it's going to float up again, right? It's still going to be there. It's not going to go away. So you have to work at it, and it takes work. It really does. So how do you find out what the stories are? So the story belief system, a lot of people struggle with identifying what it is. And oftentimes what I'll tell people is that when you are like playing the word association game is awesome with this, because the first things that come to your mind. And usually as you play that word association game, you'll get to the issue, because your subconscious is bringing stuff up that needs to come up, right? So keep asking yourself why. Why? So, for example, if I were, we'll use the example of the Ren Fair, right? That being around lots of people. So the first why might be, I don't like being around people. Okay, why? They make me nervous. Okay, why? It reminds me of something that happened in my childhood. Okay, why? There's something about that situation I didn't like. Okay, why? And it goes, as you can see, it goes deeper. Like every why gets you down further and further and further until you identify something that comes up, right? You're identifying, you're taking a look at the bottom of that iceberg and getting to the root of the core of the issue. And once you do that, and you'd be surprised at some of the stuff that comes up. Like I've had people do this and they're like, wow, I didn't even realize that was an issue, which is huge. So, that's basically my gist of this. If you are interested in identifying any of mindset issues, working through any of that stuff, you are more than welcome to, I'm open for questions. If you guys have any more questions, I'm always open to helping some people out. If they need, I have resources. If you're struggling with anxiety or trauma and need to talk to a counselor, I have some awesome resources. And we also have a membership program if you love what I do, love the way I work, if it's a hell yes for you, we have that too. So I'm free, I'm open. I will post the story of the white and black wolf for those of you that are interested in actually reading through, because some people have different learning capabilities. Some people like to read versus listen. So we'll do that too. And then I will post the 4 steps to getting rid of triggers. All right, guys, good luck.